Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Christopher Bowler, and I'm a Senior Financial Advisor and South African Specialist at Skybound Wealth Management in the UK. I work with and specialise in helping South African expats navigate the international investment market and ultimately provide them with a more secure and hopefully financially prepared future. Today, we'll be discussing South Africa's new two-pot retirement system, an important development in retirement planning that affects how South Africans will save, contribute, and access their retirement funds, both now and at that also important retirement date. So by the end of this session, I hope to give you a clear understanding of exactly how the system works, its implications for your retirement planning, and how potentially offshore strategies with myself and Skybound can complement this new approach. Thanks for joining. So, to give you a little understanding about who exactly I am, as I said earlier, my name is Chris Bowler, and I have been working with South African clients for the duration of my career. Whether it be in Nigeria, Kazakhstan, Angola, Kenya, through the various licenses Skybound currently hold, which we will touch on later, I aim to provide transparent, simple, yet effective financial advice and investment solutions to South Africans wherever they may reside. Now, I'm not going to go into depth today, the process to become a client, but if you feel you may benefit from sitting down with somebody to understand a little bit better your current options, how you can utilize investment solutions in the offshore jurisdictions, and really maximize your expat status, please feel free to get in touch after the call. Thank you. So, to give you a brief understanding of the agenda we will work through this evening, the presentation will last roughly 20 minutes. And I will take you through the following areas. So firstly, who are Skybound and how we operate within the international market. We will then take a focus on the main topic for conversation, which is the new two-pot system, which was introduced on the 1st of September. We'll have a look at exactly what this new two-pot system means for South Africans and why it was introduced, what the tax implications of the new system are, and does it really make sense? And finally, what solutions are available to you through your expat status using myself and Skybound, along with some of the key benefits to these solutions. So what I feel is one of the most important factors when working with a financial advisor is the company they represent. And this slide shows the history of Skybound as a group and how we came to our current position in present day. To give you a brief history, in 1999, a family-orientated firm began its growth in the UK under the name GWM, and that was the original firm I was actually hired for. This firm expanded throughout Europe, the Middle East, and into the USA. Now, 25 years on, the firm looks very different, and in 2020 was acquired by a South African-based portfolio management firm named Skybound Capital. And from this original firm, became the brand you see today of Skybound Wealth. And this is the name you'll see above all the office doors. Since then, the firm has gone from strength to strength, and we now manage across the globe in excess of $4 billion of client assets across 14 offices globally, with expansion into Australia, Europe, and the Far East, some of our greatest success stories. Now, what is crucial to understand is how we operate from a regulatory perspective in all of the jurisdictions we currently work in. So as you can see from this slide, since 1999, we have always maintained a global regulation in world-class financial jurisdictions. To give you a few examples, in the UK, we are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. The USA is the SEC. In the Middle East, we are regulated by the IA and ESCA. In Europe, via our SISEC and IDD license. And finally, in Switzerland, through FINMA and ARIF. Now, I appreciate these may all just seem like random abbreviations to you at this stage. However, what this does show is our importance and reliance on being globally regulated. This provides our clients with the peace of mind that wherever they may go in the world, they will always have a regulated and qualified point of contact to provide them with a cross-border financial advice and ultimately a familiar face to guide them through life's financial milestones. Whether that be a dream retirement income or sending the children off to a top university, there is no goal which is unachievable with the correct planning and dedication. What these regulations also provide clients with is a peace of mind that we are following the correct processes to understand our clients' needs, desires, and aspirations for the future, and then providing them with transparent and effective solutions together. So now we will come on to the main topic of conversation, the new two-pot system. So to start, let's briefly recap the previous retirement savings structures in South Africa. Up until now, the system was fairly rigid. Funds were locked away until retirement with limited access in cases of extreme need. This meant individuals often turned to costly loans or debt when unexpected financial emergencies occurred. The lack of liquidity made it difficult to balance long-term savings with short-term needs. So, on the 1st of September 2024, the introduction of the new two-pot system came into play. This was originally intended to address some of these challenges by introducing greater flexibility into our overall retirement system. This change will affect everybody with any form of South African retirement provision, including retirement annuities, preservation funds, and provident funds. The system was implemented as suggested to provide South African pension holders with greater flexibility to access 1/3 of their pension provisions in the time of emergency. Now, in the next few slides, we'll take a closer look at exactly how it works. So, what exactly is the two-pot system and how does it work? So, as I said, starting from September 2024, all South African retirement funds will be split into two pots. The first pot is what we call the savings component, allowing for greater liquidity and access for withdrawal. Members will be able to access 1/3 of their future annual contributions. Now, this pot is designed to provide some short-term financial relief during emergencies, and the key word here is future contributions. The second pot is the vested preservation pot, which locks in 2/3 of future contributions. These funds are preserved for retirement. It can only be accessed upon reaching retirement age, or if you leave South Africa and have done for more than 3 years, these pots are now still available. The system is designed to create a balance between short-term liquidity and long-term retirement savings. The idea is that to give South Africans more control over their finances without undermining their future financial security. However, does the system really do this? So let's take a look at the individual pots in isolation. On the 31st of August, your pension fund value will have been calculated. Now, this is called the vested pot, and you can see it on this screen in the dark blue shaded section. This pot is not accessible and cannot be touched or withdrawn until retirement. These assets were locked previously, just like before. Now, the vested pot, 30,000 Rand or 10%, whichever is the lower of those two values, will be added to the new savings pot illustrated on here in purple. This is what they have called the seed money. So currently, most South Africans will have 30,000 Rand or 10% of their vested pot value now in this new savings component. And the rest of it, previous to 31st of August, will now be kept in this vested pot, not to be touched until your nominal retirement age. Moving forwards is where the new two-pot system really takes effect. For all the people who are currently contributing to their retirement plans, the capital will be split between these two new pots, the savings pot and the retirement pot, illustrated here in light blue, on a 1/3 and 2/3 basis. So, although it's called the two-pot system, it is in theory three. The vested component, which includes all previous contributions and growth, and the value of your plan on the 31st of August, and then the two new pots, currently holding 30,000 Rand or 10%, and then finally the new retirement pot. Now, this slide shows an example of a client's current pension statement after September 1st. What we can see is that the client's transfer value to the new system was 185,181 Rand. We can clearly see that this 10% of the transfer value was added to the new savings component. So in this case, 10% of the value at the time. Now, this client is still contributing. So we can see at the bottom of the statement that they have now got 166,302 Rand in the vested component, locked until retirement, 18,778 in the savings component, and that 600 Rand from their latest contribution has gone towards the new retirement pot. Now, It must be said that all of these pots still remain invested and still have the potential for growth. They're not sat in cash. So whichever fund you've selected will still be growing with any luck, the value of your account. So what does this initially mean for South Africans? As we've already discussed, 30,000 Rand or 10% of your vested pot is now in the new savings component and can be accessed instantly in times of hardship or if you fancy a nice holiday, although I would not recommend this. Moving forward, all contributions are split 1/3 to the savings pot and 2/3 to the retirement pot. So instantly, this will allow South Africans to access 30,000 Rand or 10% of their current retirement provisions instantly. This is around the US dollar equivalent of around $1,700, so not much really. And do not forget, as we'll explore in more depth on the next slide, all of this income will be taxed by SARS at your marginal rate of between 18 and 40%. It also means moving forward that all of your contributions within the savings component in 2, 3, 4 years, or however long you continue to be contributing, can now be withdrawn before retirement. However, there is a minimum of 2,000 Rand which has to be withdrawn if making a withdrawal, and you're only allowed to take a maximum of 1 withdrawal per year. So coming back to the rationale at the start, why was this even introduced? Why have they decided to make such big changes? The idea is that it will provide South African pension holders with more flexibility in times of need. However, in my experience as a financial advisor tells me anything is that people with poor money habits and poor discipline when it comes to money, if they have access to any money, they will use it. This could lead people to withdrawing 1/3 of their savings component every single year for Christmas presents, a holiday, maybe a new car, simply because they can. This will cause the future provisions and the ability for capital to compound over the long term to be significantly reduced. It has also said that if you currently hold any debt with SARS, any withdrawals will be used instantly to recover that debt. So you could get back less than you anticipated, or even nothing at all. In my opinion, this could cause costly for people in the long run. My final comment on the new two-pot system is ultimately surrounding that of the taxes involved. And to be frank, this system has been heavily criticised by global economists and financial professionals like myself. Sure, it's great to pay off expensive debt and capital could be used for healthcare and important events. But remember, any withdrawals, whether that be now or in the future, will always be liable to taxes in South Africa from SARS, whether you have financially or tax immigrated or not. Studies by Investec have actually shown that if the 100 billion Rand is taken in early pension withdrawals as expected in 2025, it could add around 0.5% to South Africa's GDP in just the spending of these savings alone. But more drastically, up to 20 billion Rand extra in tax revenue for SARS in 2025. This is around $1.16 billion. Most people who withdraw their 10% or 30,000 Rand instantly are not aware that this money could be taxed. And by the time the money hits your bank, it could be next to nothing of significance. However, if you need it, it's now there. Just be wary of how this could affect you in the long term. If you begin to treat the savings component now and in the future like a piggy bank or a rainy day fund, it's not. It's supposed to be your future income. You are borrowing from your future self to support your lifestyle now, but how will you support yourself in 15 or 20 years' time if 1/3 of your saving has been withdrawn and spent? Now, here's where things get interesting for those of us in the offshore investment space. With the new system, it's even more critical to maximize the potential of your expat status. Offshore investments can play a crucial role here by diversifying part of your retirement portfolio internationally. You can gain access to markets and opportunities that might offer better returns and hedge against the local economic volatility, which we can often experience in South Africa. While the new two-pot system applies to South African retirement funds, your overall wealth strategy doesn't need to be confined within South Africa. Offshore investments through myself and Skybound can offer you more options from better growth opportunities, tax efficiency, harder currencies, but also often is the case, much more flexibility. I've listed here through some of the main solutions which are available to you using your expat status, such as offshore regular saving structures, developed market property, such as in the UK and Portugal, fixed term deposit notes, and much, much more. So if you would like to learn more about these options and you have registered for this webinar, please expect a call from one of our team to follow up and see if we can assist you like we have thousands of others. So, in conclusion, of course, the new two-pot system isn't without its considerations. It offers a new level of flexibility for South African expats planning for retirement. It provides opportunities for short-term liquidity while ensuring the majority of your funds remain dedicated to your future. However, there are two main areas for advice and planning here. For example, the tax implications. Withdrawals from your savings pot will have tax consequences depending on your personal financial situation, anywhere between 18 and 40%. It's important to plan for this, ensure you really are optimizing any withdrawals only if you need to take them. And finally, the long-term planning. Access to this savings pot should be used carefully. You don't want to undermine your long-term retirement savings by withdrawing too frequently, treating this money like a piggy bank. This will just impact any of the growth and compounding ability for your future income. Now, by integrating offshore investment strategies as well, we can make the most of both pots, balancing immediate needs with long-term capital growth. As always, careful planning is key to ensure your retirement is both secure and flexible. So if you have any questions or would like to explore how this system fits into your financial plan, or are keen to explore the benefits of your offshore status, I'm here to assist. Thank you for listening.